You're watching Escape Adulthood Live, your #1 source for long-lasting, fast-acting, physician-approved adultitis relief.
On this week's show, we're talking about Super Mario Brothers, video games, and the most important thing you need to do to avoid missing your life.
Greetings and salutations. This episode is brought to you by people like Amy Payne, Debbie Green, and James Hall. Their membership in the Wonder and Whimsy Society supports us in this work to fight adultitis, so thank you guys.
If you'd like to annihilate adultitis in your life, learn about the Wonder and Whimsy Society, or be the first to know about our newest offerings, become an insider at escapeadulthood.com/subscribe.
Absolutely. It is great to be here for another week. This is our 48th show.
That's crazy, you
It's
guys.
older than me now.
48. Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Not by much.
Although if I was measuring my life in weeks, I'd be dead now. Well, it's exciting because we have number 50 coming up, which, you know, it's funny how we decide like 50,
50's a big
that's
deal.
an important number.
Yes.
So we got some ideas of some things we could do for that. But I'm curious if you have any ideas of what we should do for our 50th show.
I know. You guys,
anything
and
you
our crew is here
cool.
tonight. We see Jody and Christy and Gender Ritter and Minette. Minette, we haven't seen you in a while.
Hey, Minette, how's it going?
Paul and Tracy. Or Paul and Tracy. Yeah, Tracy. Paul, Tracy, and Tracy, Kara, Kelsey. Thank you guys for being here. What ideas do you have for us for our 50th show? You know, it's kind of, you do feel like we got to do something, right?
Seems like it, and it's
kind of creeping up.
So we'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But yeah, we're talking a little bit about video games tonight. It's nice to hear some old school favorites here. We asked people what your favorite video game was. Christy said Mario Kart on the Wii.
Fun.
Remember Wii?
Wii.
She also said Tetris. That was a good one.
Yes.
Helen, never been a big video game fan, but loved Pong.
I don't even know what Pong is.
Pong is that one that is like the very first game, and it just had two things, and the ball went back and forth, kind of like tennis.
Okay.
You know?
I can picture that.
Yep, that's what that is. All and of course, then we've got.
I'm with you, Helen. We didn't really have video games growing up, so.
When someone shouted Frogger, you were like, yes.
Yeah, Frogger. And they have kind of a modern version of that our kids play.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And there's an app for the smart TVs on that, so that's kind of a fun one. It's a little addicting.
Seeing Space Invaders.
Nice.
Well, here's a good one. This is let me pull it up. Paperboy. Do you remember that one? That was a fun one.
Was that like a computer game?
I want to say it was both, actually.
Okay.
I think I played on both.
Oh, man,
how about
that
Centipede?
brings back
Centipede
memories.
from Jody.
I don't
know. Good one.
Centipede.
You know that one? Yeah, that's another
We had a Commodore 64 or 128, I can't remember, and we had like games on there. So we had like the Olympics and stuff like that. So we kind of missed the whole Nintendo craze.
Whoops. Yeah. Well, you know, that was kind of maybe we'll get into our story about that a little bit later.
Yes.
But I like some of the things people are sharing. I think doing a live of some of your favorite things over the year, maybe the spaghetti dinner thing with the kids.
Live? Ooh, that's a great idea.
Jody suggests kid-made cupcakes or donuts.
Ooh, that just sounds great.
Tracy thinks we need to have bling. Bling for sure.
Bling for 50th, right? Gold. My parents just celebrated their 50th anniversary, well, 2 years ago now, but all gold, you know, that was pre-COVID, so we actually had a party. It was so cool.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear some ideas. Get us thinking a little bit. But yeah, we're gonna go back into our Wayback Machine. It is time to put on our seatbelts and head in the time machine. All right, well, we're talking about video games today, and I have 10 interesting video game facts.
Oh, wow.
Now, what I should do, if you've been a fan of the show, you may remember our game where we say, interestingly.
Oh no.
It's a summertime game where you say interestingly and then you follow it up
Make something
with
up.
a ridiculous thing that is not true at all. But you say it in a British accent, so it makes it seem like it is true.
What if you have a British accent? Is it as fun?
I don't know. That's a good question.
If anyone here has a British accent, can you confirm if this is still fun doing it in your normal voice?
Yeah. Inquiring minds want to know.
By the way, Nick Atkins, good to see you. He's quite the video game guru. In fact,
he's been a big Zelda fan.
Good to see you.
And that also is one of my favorites. That actually is a fact that didn't make the list, but I learned today, is that Zelda, the character Link in The Legend of Zelda, was modeled after Peter Pan.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Huh.
So
does that make sense to you, knowing anything about it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Nice.
Okay, so the first little interesting fact. Interestingly, in 1972, Magnavox offered the first home video game system dubbed the Odyssey. It was very limited. It could only produce very simple graphics and required that custom plastic overlays be taped over the TV screen.
What?
I didn't know that.
That is crazy.
That's old school, right?
Because they didn't have the technology to do all the graphics.
Yeah.
So you had to add graphics.
Isn't that like what video games were? That's the just get out the Crayolas and make your own video game.
Hilarious.
Glue it to the TV. I like that. Here's another one. Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney started Atari with just $500.
Whoa.
$500. Within 5 years, the company had earned $28 million, and by 1982, sales topped $2 billion.
Oh.
That is what the kids call a good return on investment.
That's what I'm talking about.
Interesting, right?
Interesting.
Okay,
yes. And Paul says the Brits just use an American accent. So that's a good
Interesting.
point.
Interestingly.
That.
This is going to blow your mind. In addition to starting Atari, Nolan Bushnell, who's the guy in the tie right next to the Pong game there, he also founded the popular pizza and entertainment company Chuck E. Cheese.
What? That's epic.
Atari and Chuck E. Cheese. That's a good.
That actually goes.
It's a good track
together.
record, right?
Wow, that is.
The picture here is a little creepy to me.
Yeah,
I don't know anybody.
as is all Chuck E. Cheese memories. But
Holy nightmare!
we almost celebrated every childhood birthday at a Chuck E. Cheese as a family.
Really?
You did not know that.
Married for 21 years almost.
On our
learning new things
Chicago,
about you.
We would come
you're
back.
just a delight.
Aw, see?
Yeah, tell me more about yourself. What's your middle name again? All right. Now, sticking at the Atari 2600, that was the first video game system that we had in our home. It was introduced in 1977 as the Atari Video Computer System, VCS, and used removable cartridges, allowing a multitude of games to be played using the same hardware. So a lot of people of a certain age will remember that. You may also remember you had to blow into the cartridge as some
dust would
get dust in there, and
up.
It may or may not have actually worked.
But that's what you did.
How about this from Helen? Yeah. Chuck E. Cheese is a kid's gateway into casinos.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Especially with the stage entertainment, like the Vegas. If that's what you want to call stage entertainment.
Yeah. So someone here, a couple people mentioned Space Invaders, which is one of my favorites. So in Space Invaders, if you didn't know this, the more aliens you kill, the faster they come at you. This pattern of the game getting more challenging the more you play has become a staple in the gaming world, but it actually started as a fluke.
Oh.
Get this. The aliens were always supposed to come at you at the same speed, but with so many aliens on the screen, the hardware couldn't handle it, so they were slowed down. The more aliens you killed as you played, the more system memory was freed up, so the game ended up running faster.
Oh, interesting.
How about that?
Interestingly.
How about that?
Wow.
Very good, right? All right. Here's another good one. This game was also mentioned. I want to see if you can guess this one, Kim. So arcades in the late 1970s and 80s were dark, masculine places, full of space shooting games inspired by the success
Holy nightmare.
of Space Invaders. Toru Iwatani,
Okay.
that's how you say his name, Japanese, began thinking about a concept which ran counter to those games. There were no games that everyone could enjoy, and especially none for women. I wanted to come up with a comical game women could enjoy.
Comical.
So this is early 80s.
Okay.
This game that he came up with was called Pac-Man.
Oh, yes.
Pac-Man. Very different than any of the other games when they came out at the time.
Universally beloved, by the way, as, your shirt indicates.
Very much so.
Right.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I did not know this. Nintendo, that came out 1985.
Okay.
Was the first to introduce the idea of using a pad controller instead of a joystick. So that's kind of cool. Now, the modern games have passed me by because there's too many buttons for me. I can't keep track of all that. Now here's a cool little life lesson, folks. When you feel like you are not experienced in a particular field, have no fear. That might be your advantage. As Paul said in reference to Space Invaders, but applies here. Not a bug, a feature.
Yes, just shift it.
So Shigeru Miyamoto was a graphic artist who had never designed a video game in his life. He got hired by Nintendo, and his approach was an artistic one. The games he designed were so different from everything else simply because he didn't really know what he wasn't supposed to do.
Love it.
So he was the one who created Legend of Zelda, and he also created Super Mario Brothers.
Really?
However, his first game, I don't think anyone mentioned this one yet in the comments. I haven't seen it, but his first game was supposed to be based on the Popeye love triangle.
Oh.
So you got Popeye, Bluto, and
Bluto?
and olive oil.
Okay.
Yes, Bluto.
Oh, Pluto's from
That's Disney.
So
So they, Nintendo wanted to get the license for Popeye, couldn't get it.
okay.
So he basically swapped out characters, and Bluto became a giant gorilla. Popeye, the Sailor Man, became Jumpman. And he was a carpenter, leaping barrels and scaling his construction site to rescue Olive Oil, a.k.a. Lady. The game was titled Donkey Kong.
Jody.
She nailed it.
Yeah.
And became a runaway success. So, that was supposed to be a Popeye game, believe it or not.
Oh my gosh.
And what's cool about that is you might recognize that little carpenter dude down there. That's Mario right there.
And that was that before or after Mario?
This was first.
Okay.
So he designed Mario to be interchangeable in different games. And actually in Donkey Kong 2, I had read that Mario was like a villain in that one. So he's kind of designed to be a character that went back and forth. But he didn't actually have a name at a certain point. Apparently the people in Nintendo's warehouses referred to him as Mario after the landlord because he would always come asking for rent. And so they started calling him Mario. And,
oh my gosh, that's so funny.
And Miyamoto was like, I like that. I think I'm going to go with that.
Kathy Rose is wondering if it was Brutus.
That
does sound
That is a good
more
question.
correct,
The thing I had said Bluto, but we'll put that up. What do you guys think? Was it Bluto or was it Brutus?
Something about Bluto doesn't seem right.
It doesn't sound right either,
Yeah.
but that's what it was in the article.
Okay.
So it was a B. It was a B. This is a big guy with the mustache.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, moving on. So a couple more. This was kind of neat. Miyamoto designed his little carpenter. He had constrictions, right? So we've talked in the past, especially in the Let's Draw segment, that sometimes when you have too many options, it's actually really hard to be creative. You're better off having some walls put up around you. And he did. He had this 8-bit thing where they could only have graphics that only had so many pixels, for lack of a better word. And so his carpenter basically was designed with this to be practical. So overalls made his arms more visible. Thick mustache showed up better than a mouth and accented his bulbous nose. Bright colors popped against the dark backgrounds. And he wore a hat, so Miyamoto could skip designing a hairstyle, not his favorite task, and to save programmers from animating it during jumps.
Wow, that's so funny.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Right. First of all, before you go up to Jill's, this is a really fun comment.
Where? Right here?
Yes.
Okay, Jill. Had a Nintendo that in the end needed a Barbie shoe wedge in to keep the cartridge to playing the games. That's
Everybody's got that.
Heck yes, I did.
Something in your house that's
pretty
like
good.
it only works because of this this odd thing that we have to do. So
okay. Well, here we
Awesome,
go.
Jill.
Jenna is on it here. Brutus, after the theatrical
Snopes.
Popeye cartoon series ceased production in 1957, Bluto's name was changed to Brutus because it was incorrectly believed that Paramount Pictures distributors of the Fleischer Studios, later Famous Studios cartoons, owned the rights to the name Bluto. So it was Bluto at a time, and then it got changed to Brutus.
Interesting.
So there you go. Now
Right.
you know stuff. And finally, last bit here, that I mentioned that Mario was a carpenter at first, and they ultimately changed his profession to plumber to match the green pipes and sewer settings of the Mario Brothers franchise.
Interesting.
6 out of the top 10 best-selling video games of all time are Mario games.
Does not surprise
So
me.
he's the
Wow.
he's the one that some website claim that he's actually more well known around the world than Mickey Mouse, which I
my
find hard to believe, but I
goodness.
suppose
Wow.
is possible.
Yeah, that's interesting. I used to have a Mario shirt. I dug around the closet. I think that ship has sailed. But you remember that? That was one of my favorite little shirts.
Which one?
Mario shirt.
Yes.
It was like a little,
Yeah, that was a good one.
it was oldie. But
So
goodie.
we hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane in our time machine, talking about video games. More video game talk to come, but first...
And now, a word from our sponsors.
All right, guys. It's getting
coming.
exciting.
It is coming. The Escape Adulthood Summit golden tickets are officially on sale, but there are not many left.
No, by the time we had our big chunk from last year say, yes, I'm still coming, and then we opened it up to Wonder and Whimsy Society members, and then just a few days ago, we opened it up to the general public. And if you are an alumni, you should have gotten an email, was it yesterday or the day before, just kind of reminding you that this is happening. So
Yes.
let us know what questions you have. We've been getting some good little questions, so feel free to throw them our way. We are happy to answer any questions you might have. It's going to be awesome.
I think the thing we're most excited about is we had to cancel the summit last year for mysterious
Obvious.
reasons. And I think we need this so bad. Like, this is the mental health break, vacation, reprieve that we all
respite.
need.
Yes.
And what a good place for it. It's going to be
man.
here in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, which is known as the bratwurst capital of the world and the Malibu of the Midwest.
Yeah, people actually don't
surfers
understand
come
that.
here. This is a surf town,
This
believe it or
is
not.
a surfing
Who knew?
town. And at that time of year, you definitely will probably see some surfers in August.
Yes.
So
Yeah, where they're out right now.
Mhm.
Believe it or not.
It snowed here today,
Yeah.
and there are surfers out. So,
But we are hosting this at the Blue Harbor Resort, which is right on the edge of Lake Michigan. It is a beautiful setting. This is going to be on Monday, August 2nd and 3rd. We have a number of people who are using this as professional development.
Yes.
They're having their companies pay for this, and there's information on the page about what to tell your boss.
Yeah.
So you can say, yeah, I'm going to the Escape Adulthood Summit, and you should pay for it.
It definitely falls under the wellness and employee engagement category. So if you have any questions on how, to spin that at any point, Jason speaks for companies, all that. So this is definitely not a stretch, you guys. Like, the content we'll be sharing is stuff you can bring back to your organizations and be able to share in a productive way. So let us know if you need help with that. It's always kind of fun to see. A lot of times we'll have like small groups of teams come, and that's kind of neat to see from different organizations and companies. So
yeah. But if you feel like you've been on an island and you need to hang out with people who honor their childlike spirit, it is a blast. It's 2 days of fun, talks, speakers, fun activities, fun surprises. It's for introverts and extroverts alike. We're both introverts, so we make sure that it's not too overwhelming for
Did
people.
you hear my mom last weekend? We saw my parents, and my mom said, "You say you're an introvert. I don't believe you." So I was like, "Well, it is more about energy. We present as extroverts, but we really, need to reserve energy and fill that cup fast in small, in big doses, right?" So.
Yep. So we hope you can join it. Check it out. You'll see the pictures of the resort. You'll get an idea of what exactly to expect. We do keep a lot of things secret, but if you go to that website, escapeadulthoodsummit.com, you'll get a pretty good idea of what to expect and how much fun is in store. And I know a lot of you watching right now already have your golden ticket, so we're excited to see you, and we hope you can join us.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
My grandpa and uncle used to own a tavern. Once in a while, they'd close it down to host family parties. Now, I remember the dimly lit atmosphere and the ghosts of spent cigarettes that hung in the air, but my favorite feature was the row of arcade games lined up against the wall. They were blinking bright doorways to amazing worlds and grand adventures. I don't remember ever being given any money from my parents to play them, but no matter. Each game had a preview segment showing a minute or so of the gameplay to entice you to feed it some coins. I just delighted in going from machine to machine, maneuvering the joystick and mashing buttons while pretending I was the one controlling the game. Eventually, the novelty did wear off, as the preview always ended the same way. Now, I could pretend for hours, living in a fantasy world, which was fun for a while. But if I wanted to experience the game for real, I had to insert some coins. Now, sometimes we live preview lives in our own heads, imagining what it would be like if we made the decision to ask her out, or put the house up for sale and embark on that quest, or ask for that raise, or quit that godforsaken job once and for all. Sometimes those visions in our heads have amazing endings. Others have disastrous results, but either way, it's all fake. No matter how certain you are of the likely result, good or bad, you don't know what will really happen until you actually go for it. Knowing for sure, that costs something. You have to be willing to insert the coin. It might be a financial investment, of course, but that's not usually what holds us back. Not really. More often, it's the fear of the unknown, of not measuring up, or the risk of failure and the embarrassment that might come from it. Sometimes we shy away from the pain and discomfort it will require. We're just not willing to put in the work or serve the time to get where we want to be. A few years after my grandfather closed the tavern for good, I had a friend who was really good at video games. My brothers and I would sit and watch him play Super Mario Brothers, delighted to see how far he'd get, fingers crossed over whether he'd be able to defeat Bowser and win the game. It too was fun for a while, but the joy was always fleeting because his success wasn't ours. It was always more fulfilling to solve a level on my own, even if I never did make it as far in the game as he did. This painting is inspired by that original Nintendo classic. I'm intrigued by the idea of coming across one of the game's iconic green pipes in the middle of a wide open field. What's it doing there? Where does it lead? And most importantly, would I have the courage to find out? Life is a lot like a video game. It's filled with challenges, obstacles, and opportunities to level up. But unlike most video games in which you have a few lives to get it right, real life only gives you one. What a pity to waste it watching someone else's game or settling for an imaginary version of your own. What a shame to let fear keep you from fully owning your story and who you are meant to become. Don't miss the adventure of a lifetime. Insert the coin.
I just kind of have a feeling tonight that someone watching needs to hear this. Like there's a little bit of what's that line from?
Embarrassing bravery.
Not 5 seconds of embarrassing bravery. Is that what it is?
Yep.
That act of bravery, even if it's not going to take that long, but you just kind of have to send that email or whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. Do that next step that is going to take you to the next level of your path.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think someone is watching that either is is convinced that's something that they've been wanting to do, been thinking about doing, playing around with. They're convinced it would go terribly, right? Or sometimes there's that thing where you imagine it and you think about how great it would be, but you never actually make that first step, and you just kind of live all the time within your own head. So I hope that if you're watching this, and if you are in one of those moments, these seasons of life where you're kind of really thinking about whatever that next adventure is, and you're just not sure, there are no guarantees in life, and that's the hard part. That's where the risk comes in. But I hope you will be willing to insert the coin and give it a try. But right now, I think it's a time to draw, don't you?
Let's draw.
Let's draw. All right, it is time to draw, and this is the time to pull out your crayons, colored pencils, markers, whatever you have. Even if you just have a ballpoint pen and a Post-it note, you can play Let's Draw with us. We're going to draw something fun today. We're going to keep it with the theme.
How do you top the banana octopuses from last week?
Yeah, that banana octopus was
pretty
a lot
epic,
of fun.
right?
But what we're going to start out with here today is we're going to start with a V towards the top of our page, okay? And then I'm actually going to draw another V right under it. Just like that, okay? Now, I'm going to kind of draw a straight line more towards the middle bottom of the page, like that. And then I'm going to draw another line under that, about like that. Hopefully you're hanging in there, right? Okay, now we're going to draw a kind of a round shape that looks a little bit like this. All right. Step by step, that's how it works. And we're going to draw a vertical line down the middle. It looks a little bit like a lollipop, right? And then I'm going to do another one right there. All right, now there may be some...
Steven.
Yeah, there's a Super Mario fan. All right, I'm going to round off these top corners here. And it's going to really start to take shape now. We're going to draw some more vertical lines to connect these. And we've got some of our pipes. We've got a pipe here coming in.
We got a pipe, people.
We got a pipe. And,
are they always green?
That's a good question. I can't think of... They might be blue sometimes, but I don't remember.
When you go to like the lower level, does it change color? It's
been a long time. So we got these leaves that are going to be coming out, and then we're going to do sort of like I almost think this looks like a batarang. If anyone remembers, like Batman, you draw these like little scallop shapes.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of it's like a dandelion leaf, right?
Mm-hmm. Jennifer Tackett says, "Now I want to play Mario."
Right.
I know, I told you.
Hear it all in your head, right? So this is what we're making here is what they call a piranha plant.
Mm-hmm. Stephen called it.
Stephen got it really early on, and so these got teeth. We got little triangles here for the teeth. Now, of course, wouldn't be complete unless you kind of colored some of this in. So we're going to go with our little green pipe here.
I'm pretty sure the only memory I have of these is dying. My Mario dying in them. They would pop up, right?
Yep.
And then you'd be like, no!
Right at the most inopportune time.
Yeah, that's familiar. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So we'll color in our little pipe guy here. But, okay, so here's the question I have for you, Kim, is if you were in a field and you saw one of these sewer pipes just randomly out in the open, would you explore it? Would you be like, how curious would you be?
I would definitely look inside, but I don't think that's going to help me much.
No, you kind of
gotta go inside, which is kind of your whole point of tonight's message.
Right.
That you can't just peek. You really do got to take that leap into the unknown. I don't know. That's pretty crazy, right?
Coloring in these leaves here, a little bit of a darker green. And these piranha plants, the ones I like the best that visually have this red
Yeah, that's cool.
with the white spots.
Thinking about your question, I feel like we have done that in our life, though. We've seen the tubes and we've jumped in them without knowing where they were leading.
It's a good point.
So we may not have physically climbed in one of these, but I feel like we have in other metaphorical ways, including when we moved to Madison. Neither one of us, when we decided to move to Madison, we didn't have jobs. We didn't know one person. We didn't know one person in Madison, which is exactly the same thing as Sheboygan. We didn't know one person other than our realtors. And everybody's always like, whoa, who do you know here? No one.
No one.
So maybe that's an introvert's dream, though.
Yeah, it is. There's a brief time where you can go in the grocery store and you don't see anyone. It's kind of nice, but yeah. So I'm just gonna put a couple details on here
I
with
love the polka dots.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun. I mean, that was one of the things I read was this designer. Now remember, this guy was the one who had never designed video games before, and so he loved storytelling, and he loved even the villains had an element of whimsy to them. And so when you think about the little turtles that you had, and the little guys that you have to jump on, and the mushroom guys, and it's kind of hard to be too scared of them because they had such a whimsical little vibe to them. So, so there's our there's our piranha plant, as it were. Kind of a fun one. I kind of would love to see your version of that and see how. If you come up with some different colors. I kind of went with a traditional color for this thing, but I'd like to see some. Now it's getting us. It's getting us. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Koopas. Yes, that's Steven talking about one of the villains. Koopas.
Oh yeah.
Of course, Bowser is the big guy at the end.
Guys. It sounds like Steven may have played some of these in the Philippines when he was a kid.
Oh, yeah?
So that's pretty rad.
Yeah, I can see that.
Speaking of Steven, check out this. This is really cool. And he said something about Hawaii with this. So I kind of feel like that might be the Mokes in the background.
Yeah, so we, if you're just joining in, you're like, what in the hell is this? This is the fruit of last week's...
Literally the fruit.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Are you guys having a killer time?
Because this banana octopus is about to kill you. So yeah, we got really good renditions of this banana octopus. Jennifer has little Marty there riding a surfboard. I love his glasses too.
She said she's really enjoying putting the glasses on things. So Steven and Jennifer, you guys will have to meet at the summit. You're both coming. Steven loves putting glasses on things too. So
yes, he does.
Yes.
Hildy, she's got a really cute one there with the lips, a little female octopus, and then Tracy with the little bow. A little callback from the little bow we did. I think St. Patrick's Day. We did the shamrocks with the little bows.
I love the little eyelashes too.
Yeah, I love the little twists that everyone puts on these things. And Helen,
this one is cool.
This guy is. I love. He's got a inner tube. Never seen an octopus with an inner tube, but
or a banana octopus.
Also never seen a banana octopus. So
looks like he's having kind of a rough day. But maybe
he's. I can't tell if he's afraid that he's drowning or if he's having the time of his life.
Yeah, maybe it's like a thrill ride kind of deal.
Kara. I agree with you. She says these are great.
I know. Aren't they so fun
So
to see?
if you drew with us today, if you drew a piranha plant or if you have drawn anything, you can check out all of our old Let's Draw videos on our YouTube channel. There is a playlist just for them. And we would love to see your drawings. Send them to kj@escapeadulthood.com and you might end up on next week's show.
I saw Christy Ward shared this with her students today. And she was trying to get them to guess.
Yeah, we've been hearing that a lot. Teachers sharing it with the kids. I've actually heard people bring it to their staff meetings. Someone told me that they had their employees do it as a fun little break, which is rad.
Right.
And you can't get drawing lessons. That's my biggest annoyance is when you want to draw a banana octopus, you can't find them anywhere. Right. And that's what we're trying to alleviate here.
This is what
we're trying to
all
fix.
About Charlie Brown.
That's right.
By the way, if you're you're having fun, if you could just share, or we're not supposed to say share. What word are we
You
supposed to
just
say?
said it twice, but let other people know about this video through the means of a button that Facebook has.
The SH button.
Yeah, the SH word.
So just put it out there. We're just trying to get as many people to fight adultitis as possible and win. And speaking of that, well, first you got your.
Well, I'm gonna say this is gonna make somebody's life. Try this.
Pac-Man, whenever you want.
Think about what Pac-Man sounds like when he's munching those things, and then
What am I supposed to do?
put your finger in your ear and scratch.
Oh, what?
Right? If you are not doing that right now, you need to.
All right, I gotta do
Like,
it again.
Honk, 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 honk,
Who
honk.
figured that out, by the way?
All I have to say is, you're welcome.
You guys having a killer time?
If this is the only reason you guys show up every week,
This is what we do.
worth it.
This is what
the
we
meme
do.
of the week, right?
Meme of the week. All right, well, this week we want to acknowledge in a special way Shannon Babb, who is named the April Adultitis Fighter of the Month.
Shannon, so well deserved.
We love
Oh my
Shannon.
goodness.
She is.
I'm sure she's not watching tonight because she's like teaching or something
Probably.
amazing. She is like Miss Frizzle, the Miss Frizzle of Utah.
She is. She does a lot of cool things, and she actually, one of the things I wanted to point out about her, she's a science nerd in a good way. There's actually, she says, I encourage everyone to try being a scientist for a day. This is interesting. The type of scientist doesn't matter. You can be a biologist and go bird watching, or an astronomer and stare at the stars. If you don't know where to start, I would suggest heading over to Sci Starter. So it's SCI. Maybe Jenna will drop this in the comments. SciStarter.org, which is a site filled with citizen science projects you can complete at home. So that is rad. And what's cool about Shannon, she said we ask our adultitis fighters, like, what's something you love doing as a child that you still do in some form today?
Yeah.
She said rock hunting / collection was one of my first hobbies as a child. Luckily, I was one of those kids who never really grew out of their dinosaur phase and ended up getting a geology degree, which gives me plenty of legitimate excuses to go rock hounding. And here she is with some sort of fossil of some giant animal. I don't know what it is, but that's pretty cool. And then we always love to ask if they have any advice, because none of us are really experts at this, and so we kind of acknowledge the people who inspire us, and Shannon is one of them, and we all have some wisdom when it comes to fighting adultitis. So we asked if she had advice for anyone who is feeling overwhelmed by adultitis. If that's you right now, here's a couple thoughts. Head to your local library and check out the first 5 picture books that pique your interest.
That's good.
Probably been a long time since a lot of us have looked at a kid's book. And then this is kind of neat. She says, visit a museum that explores one of your interests. If you love something, I guarantee that there is probably at least one museum out there that celebrates it. I mean, we know when we lived in Madison, Middleton had the Mustard Museum. So, yes, there is a museum for darn near anything.
We've been to a couple of unique ones over the years
Yes.
where it's like real niche, right?
Yep. One upside of COVID is that many of these museums have put together virtual field trips and exhibits that anyone can use when they need a quick curiosity pick-me-up. And I know that art museums also have been putting a lot of their collections online for people to see as well. So some fun ideas there.
Yeah, the Spam Museum.
Yeah.
Yes, we've not been to that, but been by it. Yeah, for sure.
Jennifer alerts us to the Bob Ross Museum in Muncie, Indiana, which is also the place where Jerry from Parks and Rec likes to go on vacation. Muncie, right? Useless facts that I know. So congratulations to Shannon. You're awesome. And invitation to all of you. If you would like to hang out with other adultitis fighters, even if you don't necessarily think you are one yourself, you need to be a part of this group, because there's a lot of strength in numbers. Go to escapeadulthood.me. It's a free community of people having fun, asking questions, weighing in on nostalgic things. We'll have to put some sort of thread about video games up there, because that was kind of a
By
fun.
the way, fun fact memory about Shannon. The first time we ever met Shannon was when we opened up our front door at our home and welcomed her into a VIP studio tour the night before Summit. Was that right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so a couple years ago, she flew out from Utah to come to Escape Adulthood Summit. We had kind of a VIP event in Jason's studio the night before, and that was fun.
Yeah, it was.
And her curiosity led the way because she definitely practices what she preaches. And has that childlike curiosity that is contagious. So thank you, Shannon, for your shining light. We really, really appreciate all that you bring to this community.
All right, you guys, we've got a giveaway. We're giving away $10 to the Escape Adulthood Lemonade stand, where we have all sorts of greeting cards and prints and books and fun goodies. And all you have to do to enter is to answer this question: what was the first video game you ever played? So we asked about favorites, but what was the first video game you ever played? Do you have an answer to that one?
It's kind of funny because I don't know the order. I'm trying to remember the memories, but my neighbors did have Mario, and we did play that quite a bit. So I'm kind of thinking that has to be part of the first. But we probably played Pac-Man at like a Pizza Hut before that,
classic,
right? Like the flat, you sit on both sides and you have the
Look at this, everyone
right?
coming in.
Pong. Yes.
Pong. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Hey.
Helen says Pong. Doreen, hi Doreen, Pac-Man.
David Bate
Pong.
is on tonight. Speaking of
Pong.
Utah, good to see you, David.
Everyone is saying Pong. Kara says, I think it was Atari Bowling. Okay, Kara, I have to ask you, did you ever play the version of Atari Bowling where you could move the ball? Because we let the kids, so we got like an Atari emulator that my dad actually got.
Oh, yeah.
And we introduced the kids to it the other day, a couple weeks ago, I guess. And they had a bowling on there, and I showed them that. And the kids, oh my gosh, they had so much fun.
What do you mean by
Ben,
this ball thing? Like, what are you
like
talking
you
about?
roll the ball, and then you can actually make the ball move
as it's
down
going?
the lane.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that is definitely cheating.
yeah,
for
I was
sure.
gonna say, like, not,
But
not in real life.
it was kind of like one of the more wasn't the default game, I should say. So that was interesting, for sure. But a lot of Pong. Let's see. This is actually
Cigar.
Walt's Pong at Frank's Cigar Store, LaSalle, Illinois.
Nice.
Yep. What else we got? What else? Lots of
Horse
Pong.
racing. Yeah.
Ooh, and television.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Christy says probably Space Invaders. Pong all the way, baby. Or the one that was on TV where you called in and the kids would just yell out "Pow Pow."
Oh, I don't know
I
that.
didn't know that. No.
That's awesome.
Pong Asteroids. That's another good old classic, right?
Yes. A lot of asteroids. Yeah.
Asteroids.
Duck Hunt. Steven or
Jen
Steve
says
Arnold?
Frogger, early favorite.
Yeah.
Yep. That was
Classic.
that was one of the questions. I was debating what question to ask in this, and I was going to ask what video game most represents your life right now, and for some reason Frogger came to mind.
Oh, that was what you thought.
Trying
Move
to
this, move
not
that.
get run over by your to-do list.
It also reminds me of Tetris.
Yeah,
Right? Where
Tetris,
you're
that's
just
a good
like,
one.
hurry, like get it
Get
all.
everything in
Get it
there.
all. Yeah.
How about Duck Hunt?
Ooh.
That was great. They had like the gun.
Can I hear like a dog? No, the quacking. Yeah.
When you'd miss them, the dog.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Oregon Trail.
Pole position. Good stuff, you guys. Good stuff.
Sorry, combat.
Digger on the computer.
Ooh, I don't know that one.
Here's one. Carmen San Diego.
Oh yes.
Um,
Getting the Oregon Trail now.
Je-
Yeah.
Jennifer's answered like 4 times. I'm like, this is the first video game you ever played. I don't know if she's like thinking differently or she's just in the whole like remembering games, going back to childhood.
Either way, it's fun, right?
Good stuff. It's such a fun to listen to or read some of these favorites. Like you were like, I'm not gonna be able to think of any video
But
games.
then
But
when you
then
started
see
doing
this,
it, yeah.
this list,
Yeah.
it's all there. So.
Mhm.
All right, well, keep those coming in. We will pick a winner at the end of the show and announce it next week.
Yes.
Last week's winner was
Kelsey Schneider. I hope you got your comfortable card in the mail. And thanks for being here, you guys. We really love doing this with you every week. The thought that we're coming up on 50 shows is mind blowing. Another Corona blessing from this past year that this show was even born.
Absolutely.
So pretty exciting.
And just to one more reminder to grab your ticket if you are at all interested in the Escape Adulthood Summit. If you think it might be just what the doctor ordered, insert the coin. Go for it. Jump down that sewer pipe and find out what's in store. I guarantee you will not be disappointed if you go for it. We have some tickets available, so don't
In this
wait
case,
too long.
if you go through the sewer pipe, Lake Michigan is
Yeah,
on the other
you
side.
end up in Sheboygan.
Yeah.
Like, who knew?
Sheboygan
I think
shenanigans,
that's
here we come.
level 7 of Super Mario Brothers. He goes down the pipe and ends up in Sheboygan.
All right,
That's
well, and you
how
hear
it goes.
polka music as soon as you get there.
Yes. So thank you for joining us tonight. That is it for this show. Until next time, Adultitis Fighters.
Shine on, spread whimsy, and be awesome.